What did the Trial Chamber 1 decide?
On the 15th of January 2019, Trial Chamber 1 of the International Criminal Court, by majority, Judge Herrera Carbucha dissenting, decided that there is no need for the defense to submit further evidence and acquitted Mr. Laurent Gbagbo and Mr. Charles Goudé from all charges of crimes against humanity allegedly committed in Côte d'Ivoire in 2011. Judges Kounou Tarfousser presiding and Geoffrey Henderson, forming the majority of the chamber, ordered the release of Mr. Gbagbo and Mr. Goudé. The prosecutor may request the trial chamber to maintain Mr. Gbagbo and or Mr. Goudé in detention under exceptional circumstances. Judges have the mandate to bring justice by ensuring the fairness of the proceedings and the full respect of the accused's rights, including the presumption of innocence, and of the victim's rights.
What are the reasons behind the trial chamber's decision?
ICC judges only apply the relevant legal rules and consider submissions and evidence presented before them in the case under their scrutiny. The majority considered that the prosecutor failed to submit sufficient evidence to prove the responsibility of Mr. Gbagbo and Mr. Goudé for the specific incidents under the chamber's scrutiny. Having thoroughly analyzed the evidence, the chamber concluded by majority that the prosecutor failed to demonstrate several core constitutive elements of crimes against humanity as charged. In particular, the existence of the alleged common plan to keep Mr. Gbagbo in power, which included the commission of crimes against civilians, the existence of the alleged policy to attack a civilian population, and the existence of patterns of violence from which it could be inferred that there was a policy to attack a civilian population, that Mr. Gbagbo or Mr. Goudé knowingly or intentionally contributed to the commission of the alleged crimes, or that their speeches constituted ordering, soliciting, or inducing such crimes. These are key elements in the crimes as charged by the prosecutor. When they are not demonstrated, the persons charged with such crimes must be acquitted. Thus, the chamber considered that Mr. Gbagbo and Mr. Goudé's responsibility for the alleged crimes was not adequately supported by evidence. A fully reasoned decision will be issued in writing in due course.
Can the prosecutor appeal the acquittal decision?
Yes, the prosecutor can appeal the acquittal decision. The deadline for appeal will start running from the date in which the written reasoned decision will be filed. It will be then for the appeals chamber, composed of 5 other judges, to make a determination on the merits of such appeal.
What will happen to the victims participating in this case?
Trial Chamber 1 noted the political conflict in the context of the presidential elections, during which several violent incidents took place in Abidjan and in other parts of the country. However, the case under the Chamber's scrutiny was limited to crimes against humanity allegedly committed during 5 specific incidents: a march on the RTE headquarters between 16 and 19 December 2010, on 25th of February in Yopougon, a women's demonstration in Abobo on 3rd of March 2011, a shelling of a densely populated area in Abobo on 17th of March 2011, and on or around 12 April 2011 in Yopougon. The evidence presented by the prosecution was not sufficient in the majority's view to find that Mr. Gbagbo and Mr. Goudé are criminally responsible for the crimes against humanity allegedly committed during these specific incidents. Trial Chamber's 1 decision is without prejudice to national and ICC prosecutors' investigations outside this scope. The ICC prosecutor may appeal this decision. Victims, subject to the appeals chamber's decision, may be allowed to continue to participate in the proceedings represented by their lawyer. It would be then for the appeals chamber to make a determination on the merits of the appeal and decide whether the trial chamber's decision to acquit Mr. Gbagbo and Mr. Goudé is exempt of errors. According to the court's jurisprudence, the ICC can order reparations when accused persons are convicted. However, if the acquittal decision becomes final following the appeals proceedings, that does not prevent the Trust Fund for Victims, which is a separate and independent institution within the Rome Statute system, from considering providing support to the victims under its assistance mandate, even in the absence of judicially ordered reparations.
When will Mr. Gbagbo and Mr. Goudé be released? Will they return to Côte d'Ivoire?
Trial Chamber 1 ordered the immediate release of Mr. Gbagbo and Mr. Goudé. However, the prosecutor may submit a request to Trial Chamber 1 to extraordinarily maintain Mr. Gbagbo and or Mr. Goudé in detention. Trial Chamber 1 will then decide on such a request. Its decision can be appealed before the appeals chamber. If there is a final decision to release them, Mr. Gbagbo and Mr. Goudé will be released in the territory of a state that accepts to receive them once necessary measures are put in place. The location of their release shall depend on their observations and on the agreement of the concerned state.
Can Mr. Gbagbo and Mr. Goudé request compensation for the time spent in detention?
According to Article 85 of the Rome Statute, in exceptional circumstances where the court finds conclusive facts showing that there has been a grave and manifest miscarriage of justice, the court may, in its discretion, award compensation to an acquitted person who has been in detention. Should a request to that effect be submitted, it will be for the court to verify this criteria and to decide at its discretion whether or not to order compensation for the time spent in detention.
What is the impact of the acquittal decision on the case against Simone Gbagbo?
The two cases are independent and before different chambers. Trial Chamber 1 decision is without prejudice to the determination of another chamber. On the 11th of December 2014, Pre-Trial Chamber 1 issued the decision on the objection of inadmissibility raised by Côte d'Ivoire with respect to the case concerning Simone Gbagbo. The chamber has found the case admissible before the court. It concluded that Côte d'Ivoire has failed to demonstrate that the case, as alleged in the proceedings before the ICC, was the subject of domestic proceedings within the meaning of Article 17 of the Rome Statute. This decision was confirmed by the Appeals Chamber on the 27th of May 2015. Subsequently, the press repeatedly announced that the judicial authorities of Côte d'Ivoire have made judicial decisions against Simone Gbagbo about crimes against humanity. That is why the pretrial chamber of the ICC sought information regarding any act that may affect the admissibility of the case allegedly made by the Ivorian judicial authorities after the 11th of December 2014, the date on which the ICC pronounced the admissibility of the case concerning Madame Gbagbo. Pretrial chamber therefore ordered the ICC registrar to request the competent national authorities of Côte d'Ivoire to provide as soon as possible to the chamber any relevant information and documents, including copies, decisions, and other acts by the national authorities concerning national proceedings against Madame Gbagbo. Pretrial chamber will then decide what action may be taken following receipt of these documents.